Please stand by.
Excuse me, I'm talking.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Warning. What is your name?
I am Jay Ramone, and this is the Jay Ramone Podcast.
If the FCC knew you were doing drugs on the air, shut us down!
This gets more work done more accurately.
I will sit down with bands, artists, chefs, business owners, and fellow Oklahomans to talk about their projects and dealing with day-to-day life.
This stuff can give you brain damage.
This is the Jay Ramone Podcast.
Power of the internet is truly amazing.
This is the Jay Ramone Podcast, and I am here with Taylor Haynes from the band King Pink. How are you today?
I'm good, man. Just been working, getting ready for tour. I'm just here.
That's kind of why I reached out to you. We've been talking about this for a little while, and it just never came to fruition. I got busy, doing stuff, and then I saw your post that you were going on tour, and I was like, okay, I've got to reach out to him now because they may not come back from tour. They may just stay out on the road and pop on the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. So,
dude, for sure. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. We're here for it all. So excited to be here, man. Thank you again for having me.
So let's talk about King Pink before we get into it too far, because you guys just released an EP. Mm-hmm. I guess it's been 3 months ago, 4 months. You released one song at a time, slowly, a little bit.
We started. I think it was just a little over 2 months ago. So we did. Actually, just about 2 months ago. We did one song, "Promises," which is the title track for the EP. And then we did "Letting Go" 2 weeks later, and then after that we did "Stay Awake." And "Stay Awake" has been out for about 4 weeks now. And yeah, we're just excited to have it out. It's a little different for us, a little bit lighter, less hard rock, alt rock. And so, yeah, we just had these songs and we're just ready to put them out. So
I met you, random meeting occurrence, because my mom needed a washing machine. And so I jumped on Marketplace and I found this listing for a washing machine. And so I hit it up and you're like, yep, you can come get it. And so I rolled up in the cat van to grab this washing machine because it wasn't going to fit in my Toyota Camry. And you were like, dude, do you work for the cat, or are you just driving a big advertisement? And so that's kind of where we met. And I had already been playing a couple of songs from King Pink on the local show before then, but I hadn't met you before. I hadn't seen you guys play. And then it was a couple of weeks later, you guys got the gig opening up for one of my favorite bands, Seosin, at Beer City Music Hall. And so I was like, well, I have to go see him now because I'm going to go see Seosin.
For sure.
What was that like, getting to open up for one of those older screamo bands that kind of kicked off, the success of that genre?
Man, so for me personally, it was like a dream come true. That was one of the first bands that I had ever, listened to. I found Seosin whenever I was about 11 or 12. And that was one of the first rock, emo, whatever you want to call it, post-hardcore bands that I had found that I... Now,
are you a Seosin purist? Was that Cove that was singing?
So Cove was singing. I'm not a purist. It was Anthony Green.
Anthony Green was the original. Yeah.
So I like what Anthony Green did, and that's awesome. But I don't have a preference.
You realize there's some hardcore Seosin fans watching this who are yelling, 7 years! 7 years!
Dude, great song, great record. Not discrediting that, not trying to diminish that in any way, shape, or form. I think that everything the band has done is great, regardless of the vocalist.
I agree. I don't get wrapped up in it, man. If it's
for sure, if
the record's good, it's good.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know, that's kind of how I felt with it. My brother even texted me before we played the show, and he was like, "Is Anthony Green gonna sing with him?" And I was like, "No, he's not. It's gonna be Cove." And he was like, "All right, well, fine. You don't have to send me any photos." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about? This is I'm gonna send you photos either way, because Cove is gonna kill it. Cove wrote a great record with these guys.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not a purist. The long story short, I'm not a purist. I love it. If it's good, it's good. And I think that everything that Cove did was good. Same as Anthony Green.
That first Seosin record that came out on Capitol, that white with the spider on it, like that record slays, bro.
Yes.
Front to back slays.
Absolutely. And honestly, I will say that record, like I've drawn a lot of influences from that record, like vocally, just melodically, and I try to apply that to what I'm doing now. Like anything from that record to, what is it, Mayday Parade's A Lesson in Romantics, My Chemical Romance's Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. All three of those albums were huge influences for me and still are to this day. And whether it's Cove, whether it's Anthony Green, whoever, I just love their music. So
I would have never been able to predict in a million years that when My Chemical Romance broke up, that them getting back together would be able to sell out arenas as quickly as it did. It just blew my mind.
Dude, insane.
It's
insane.
The emo kids have big boy jobs now, have grown-up jobs, so they can afford, tickets and all of that. Whereas before, we were trying to sneak our way in.
For sure. So they can afford tickets in and then a $20 mixed drink that's based on the Black Parade. So I got some drink. I don't remember what it was called, but it was something that was themed for like the Black Parade, or welcome to the Black Parade. And it was like $18 for the drink. And I was like, you know what? It's for Gerard. So I'm going to do it. So I bought it. I tipped 25%. I got that drink. It was solid enough, it was, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
I was ready for it.
What other bands out there, if you had the opportunity to put King Pink on a show with them, who would they be? Together or not, any era.
Okay.
There are no rules.
So this is not me speaking for the rest of the band. We all have somewhat similar taste in music. But we all vary drastically whenever it comes to like our favorite bands, like our biggest influences. For me personally, Title Fight, Tiger's Jaw, Balance and Composure, and La Dispute. Those four bands are like that's like a dream lineup for me. To be able to play with those bands would be insane. I would cry. That's it. Just those four bands, man. I mean, there are other bands for sure, but those four are always top of mind for me.
What other big touring bands have you guys played with so far?
Man, bigger touring bands that we played with.
Like Seosin.
So Seosin, I think, is the biggest that we played with. Man, we've done a lot of DIY shows, honestly. We haven't played with too many bigger bands. Like what?
I love that there is a DIY culture here in Oklahoma City that is accepting of bringing touring bands in, and they get it. Like you're providing a safe space somewhere and helping them with resources, whether it be meals or laundry or a place to crash or things like that. I feel like that's the scene that I've always been drawn to, is those that it's very community based, if you will.
No, most definitely. I don't know. I think I prefer that kind of vibe, that kind of energy. Just I don't know. We're all here doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Some of us might have 100,000 plus more plays than other bands, but we're all still here doing the thing. We're all still grinding in our own way. And I just love that. Whenever I've met other bands, I'm not going to say I've played with a bunch of other bands who aren't as communal in that aspect, who aren't as plugged in, but whenever I see that, it kind of turns me off a little bit to them. I get that they're grinding and they might be burnt out whenever they come to OKC or whatever, and so they're less social, they're less involved. I get that. I'm not trying to discredit anybody, but if a band comes through and they're not as plugged in, they're not as DIY oriented or whatever, then I'm a little more turned off. And that's just me. But
I feel like if you come from that world, you've earned it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You've paid your dues. You've had all of the struggles to get you to this point.
Right. Yeah, dude. you do earn it, I think. I don't know. I'm not trying to discredit bands who make a really good tweet or like post a cool TikTok video and then they blow up from there or whatever, because that that still works for them.
Not discrediting any of that because it's all part of the hustle. Like it doesn't matter how you get there. It's whatever you got to do to get you there.
Like, dude, I would love to make a cool video with like our guitarist Dylan, and then like we get offered to go on tour with Modern Baseball or something, or something, some band that's bigger. Yeah, we would cry happily, but yeah, I don't know. It's cool getting to play with bands that are plugged in to the DIY, the grind community, if you will. I don't know if that's the right way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your favorite Oklahoma bands?
Dude, so Ben Quad for sure is like one of the top. Like that's
they're so
hands
good.
Down Ben Quad.
And then the drastic change in styles. Like just a couple records in, and all of a sudden you just change it completely and slay it. Like I was like, damn, son, like you guys flipped the script and just owned it.
Oh yeah. Dude, and so it's crazy, like, so I, like, hang out with those guys, right, like, every now and then, like, it's been a little bit, they've been busy, right, but, like, before Ephemera, I would see them a lot more often, just because of schedules, whatever, and whenever I'd see Sam, a lot of times he would have some kind of metalcore, like, early 2000s, like, post-hardcore stuff, playing on the TV at their house, right? Like Attack or like Silverstein or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I knew that they were into that kind of stuff. And then to hear the new songs, to me it was like, that makes sense. But then as their progression as a band, I was kind of like, turned on my head. Like, what? You guys are dropping this? But I don't know, it makes sense. But it doesn't.
I don't like bands to stay the same. I want them to grow sonically and as an artist into whatever they're into or whatever, I don't feel like they have to put everything in the same box just because they feel like we wrote this record that was like this and it was successful, so we got to do that again. No, that's very disingenuous. Like,
like, I don't know. I love when bands change it up. Like, I'm agreeing with you, right? Like, to me, I don't listen to just pop punk, or I don't just listen to Midwest emo or hardcore or whatever, right? Like, I listen to all these different genres. So, like, with King Ping, for example, I try to, like, incorporate different genres. And to me, I love artists that just put out what they're feeling, regardless of the genre.
100%.
I think bands will always have their sound in some way, shape, or form, whether that's, like, consistency through the vocals. Like, you can tell it's the same vocalist who did this pop punk record, but then did this, I don't know, post-hardcore record or whatever. They'll always have their consistency, and I think that they'll bring their fans back, whatever. But yeah, I love bands that diversify or die, man. That's kind of where I'm at. So,
what was it that made you pick up the 335? The semi-hollow body.
Oh, wow. I'd always wanted that guitar, man. I played on a few of them at like Guitar Center, like just not too far from here at 63rd and
where the lake's at right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, at the lake. Yeah, the Guitar Center by the lake. Yeah. So I played on a couple of them there, and I really liked them. I just loved the way they feel. I like the the Tune-O-Matic bridge. Just feels really good in my hands. I've always played like Epiphones, Gibsons, and so.
You'll learn I'm a total gear nerd.
Okay.
And
I love it. I love it. And so, I don't know, the 335 that I had, I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. But it was on sale for like $400 on Zounds.com, and it was like $40 a month.
That's why you and I are friends, because I use Zounds religiously.
Oh, because, it's the best,
dude, the interest-free payments, I can't afford this Roadcaster video right now. Oh, cool, monthly payments, go.
Yeah, like I can afford $60 a month or whatever it is. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how I got that guitar. It came in, I plugged it in like a week or two before we decided to record this last EP, and I immediately fell in love. I was like, all right, cool, I made a good choice, and then I stuck with it. And then because of life and whatever else, I ended up, it was like a partial sell trade, got a pedal out of it, and now I have another guitar, I have a Jaguar, but it was, I just had always wanted one of those guitars, and I found the right one. you know, for the time being. So
you know, they come and go, and you'll find another one.
Too much, too often. But you know, now I've got a Jaguar. Like I've got it's a Fender 2011. Is it a modern player Jaguar? I think it's got two P90s in it.
Oh yeah,
it's so sick. Like it's got the what is it? The the fretboard. It's not mahogany. I'm drawing rosewood. It's got a rosewood fretboard. I believe it's got a mahogany body. It just covers everything I need. So
I have a late '60s P90 bridge pickup from a Gibson.
Ooh, okay.
That a friend of mine bought at a guitar show, and he knows like I love P90s, and he was like, "Hey, I found this in the bin. Here you go." And so I've just been holding on to this, trying to figure out. And I bought this kind of junky Epiphone SG.
Okay.
And I had ripped the pickup out and was going to put it in there, but the neck was so twisted. I was like, it's not, I don't want to put it in this guitar because it's not going to sound right. It's not going to, you know, this guitar is not worthy of this pickup.
Fair enough.
So I canceled that. And I don't even play. I'll just Pete Townsend it. And I was a bass player. You know?
That's still playing, you know, you might not be Shredger over here.
Yeah.
But, no, that's still playing, man. That's still playing. So,
what amp do you play?
So I recently got through Zounds a Fender Blues Deluxe reissue. It's a 40-watt 112 speaker from Fender.
Yeah, bro.
It's like I don't know. I don't want to sound like too much of a nerd, but like the industry standard for an amp. You know, has a little bit more low end than their hot rod. And because I play mostly rhythm and like our sound is kind of bigger, you know, just a bigger, fuller wall of sound type deal, I was like, this will plug me into the right space sonically. And it'll still retain that clarity that I want and like have the pedal platform that I want. So I'm using that.
Stacks are not necessary these days. We were doing it wrong because you don't need 100 watts of tube amp pushing 412s just to put a mic in front of the cab to go through the PA. You know,
and on top of that, if you're not being mic'd, you're probably in a
small place.
Yeah, you don't need all that, you know. I part of me misses those days. Like I used to run 6 12-inch speakers, right? I used to have an AC30 that I would run on top of a Mesa 412, like an oversized Mesa 412, and I'd run all 6 speakers. And it was huge sounding, but so unnecessary. And like my back still hurts from that time, you know.
Your bandmates probably hated you because they needed earplugs just to.
Oh yeah, I mean they also ran similar rigs, but like so my old band Keeper used to have. We were 3 guitarists. So we'd have, and a bass player. So our bassist would use an 810, and he'd have like a rack unit on top, like a head and the compressor and all that.
Oh yeah.
So he'd run the 810, and then I'd have the 610 set up, and then we'd have 2 other guitarists. One ran a 412. It was an orange PBC 412 with an AC30 head, and then the other guitarist ran in stereo a Roland Jazz Chorus 120 with an AC30. It was like a C2. It was like a green and gray custom, like 100 or 50th anniversary AC30, something like that. So we'd run both of those in stereo. So we all had at least 4 12-inch speakers, and then I always had to be like the guy who had 2 more. So it was a lot, but it was too much.
Sound guys hated your band.
Oh yeah, they did. They constantly, like half the time we'd show up and they'd be like, "We're not going to mic you guys." We were like, "Okay, that makes sense. I get it." You know, like we'd be a little bit bummed, but we kind of look at each other like, makes sense.
Can you really hear the guitars come through the monitors?
Oh, no. It was just the whole time. Yeah, which was fun for a couple of shows, but. I don't know. I always had earplugs, and it just sounded like the whole time to me. So
there are so many bands now that are using Kemper or Fractal or whatever, and no speakers on stage.
Yeah,
that are touring bands because of the fuel costs it's saving over the length of a whole summer tour. Like when you put the pen to paper, and you're saving $5,000 or $6,000 in fuel costs.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Because you can't really tell. Not
like you really can't.
Not like, if you're playing an auditorium or something, you can't really tell.
Right. Like I have always been like a tube amp purist kind of person, just because that's what I prefer to play through, just the way that the tubes react to like my playing, like whether I'm lightly picking something and it's just like crystal clear, clean, and then to where I'm like strumming a little bit and it breaks up a little more. Like I've always loved just the way tubes respond to like my playing, but the more and more I go and I play shows and like, you know, we're touring in a couple of days, like we toured last year, the more I do that, I'm like, man, I want a smaller rig. Like I used to run a 412 for all the KP shows. I used to have a high watt, it was a 50 watt lead.
Great amp too, man.
Amazing. I'm so bummed I let it go. I just impulsively was like, hey, let me trade some stuff, and I regret. Well, no regrets. It's a mistake, but no regrets. That's what I'm trying to live by. Like, no regrets. I did what I needed to do, but yeah. So I went through. I had that running through a Carvin 412 speaker cabinet, and now I just use the Fender Blues reissue.
Just the combo?
Yeah, 40 watts, 112. You know, and I have it at 2 less than half the time. You know, it's like maybe 1.5 like is where the actual volume is set. And it's plenty loud. Sometimes when we play at Resonant Head or like other venues that mic us, they're like, hey, can you turn down just a little bit? And I'm like, shit, okay, yeah, let me like rework my gain stage. I got you though. It's enough, you know, 112 speaker is enough, man.
It's plenty. All right, so you're King Pink's getting ready to go out on tour, what, in the next couple of days, right?
Yeah. 2 days from now is our kickoff show.
Who are you going out with?
The Low Blow from Nashville, Tennessee. Super great. As they would say, damn ass rock band. They're like a post emo alternative rock kind of band. They cover a couple different genres, I would say, or a few different. But super great band. We played with them last year in Nashville when we were on tour with Sunfo, and we just really hit it off. I've been following the band since, and I had reached out to them a couple months ago and was like, hey, do y'all want to play some shows? And they were super down, so we set it up, and here we are. So we're going to be with them for, I think, 8 days in total, starting this Friday.
Very nice.
Dude, yeah, I'm excited for it. It'll be awesome. Like, I'm so stoked.
Well, plug all of your website, your socials, all that stuff, and where people can find your music.
Yeah. So you can find us at King Pink OK on Instagram. We're just King Pink on Facebook, King Pink on Spotify. On Twitter, we're King Pink or at King Pink OK. Or sorry, X, not Twitter. Sorry.
It'll always be Twitter. I don't give a shit what anybody says. It's same. You're gonna have the bird always.
Yeah,
the way it is.
Yeah.
God, I sound like an old man right now.
No, I'm with you though. Like we can be old men together. I'm with you. Yeah, anything King Pink OK, and I think that's the same for our TikTok as well. If you're on TikTok. King Pink OK. And then we also have a link in all of our bios to everything else, like our YouTube. I mean, yeah, like I said, our Twitter, our Instagram, our Facebook, our Blue Sky. We're also on Blue Sky now. So yeah.
Well, I was going to say, when I was in the office today, just kind of, I pulled it up on YouTube and was listening to your music, you know, just trying to get the vibe right for today, get my head right. And I watched a whole Norman Music Festival set that was up on YouTube. Yeah. And I was like, great, this is awesome.
Oh my gosh, was that whenever I was standalone? I had like a big, huge yellow shirt or something. Yeah, okay. I think that was like my old Ben Quad shirt. I'm pretty sure. Dude, that was a wild time. That show was crazy. We had another guitarist playing with us.
I didn't even look at the year. I could just tell it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. It was. I think it was 2021 or 2022. It was like a couple of months before our drummer moved to Seattle. And we had a guitarist who essentially was playing my parts, and so that way I could do standalone. That was a crazy show. One of our last shows, I think, where I did standalone, and it was wild. We just got picked up for an overflow show. We didn't think much of it. We thought maybe 20 people or so. It was like a Thursday night in Norman at like, I think 8 p.m. or something. We had like 60, 70 people there.
Yeah, it was a good crowd.
Yeah, it was wild. At Resonator, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
The art space. Super great. Resonator, shout out Resonator. awesome space.
So before we end this, because I believe in all of the venues in Oklahoma that support local acts and are really a part of the scene and the community, plug your favorite venues in Oklahoma.
Man, so...
Because there's a lot.
There are a lot. Man, I got to give a shout out to Resonant Head. I run the door there part-time. That's not why I'm shouting them out, but I just love going there. The sound is great. The people are great. The bands are like great every time. The Sanctuary, Michaela Littleton, who runs Beloved Bones, awesome person, has a very, very awesome, very cool thing going on there. Sanctuary is great. Very DIY, very community-based. Same as Resonant Head. 89th Street Collective has always been a venue that I've played shows at, I've gone to shows at. Well, one of the first local spots that I ever went to see local bands at. I went to see Memphis May Fire whenever I was 17. I think it was 2010 or 2011.
Cowbell's making a comeback.
Dude, yes, it really is, man. Dude, yeah, I got to shout out 89th Street. They are great. Man, I cannot forget. So Resonator and Norman. So I already said Sanctuary. I already said Resonant Head. 89th Street. Military Manor was a house venue that's literally off 89th Street, like a block over from 89th Street Collective. Amazing venue. Tower Theater, and I'm going to try to wrap this up and keep it short, I promise you. Tower Theater is incredible. Pony Boy is incredible. Beer City, one of my favorite stages to play on. Beer City. We opened for Seosin there at Beer City. The sound people were amazing. The staff was amazing. It was our first time ever getting a rider as a band. We got a liter of Hornitos because I just mentioned tequila. I asked the band and nobody responded. So I was like, well, I like tequila. Let's get some tequila. Got that, a 12-pack of Sprite, a 24 case of water, and then we got a veggie tray.
Yeah.
Because I was copying Ben Quad because they always do that. So I was like, we're going to get our veggies in, we're going to get water, and I'm going to get drunk. So Beer City, I have to put Beer City up there. But yeah, those are my favorite venues. I'll stop rambling at that point. But yeah.
You guys make sure to check out King Pink. Great band from here in Oklahoma City. This is the J. Ramone Podcast.